Hi, I'm Cathy Miron, CEO of 𝗟𝐸𝐬𝐭𝐬, a data backup and cybersecurity company. In today's video, we're going to deep dive into the true business cost of downtime. If your servers aren't working right, or your computers are acting up, or your internet is down, you know that it's costing your business time and money every second that your systems aren't working. But have you ever stopped to quantify and put some real dollars against what that cost is? I'm not just talking about the lost productivity or time spent on the phone trying to get everything fixed, but also the lost revenue and opportunities from clients who you can't service while your systems aren't working. And what about the damage to your brand reputation? Customers who aren't able to be served quickly these days will just go across the street and buy from one of your competitors. So you really have to think about what is the true cost of business downtime, and therefore, what should you budget to prevent that type of an issue in the first place? So let's talk a little bit about the cost of business downtime today. One of those costs is the cost of losing someone's data. That might be your own, but often it's data of your customers, your employees, and also in some cases your suppliers. And different studies have calculated this statistic, but one reputable study by IBM says that it costs a business on average $210 per record lost. And if you think about it, what's driving that cost? Well, in a lot of cases, especially if you are losing consumer data or data on individuals, that might include personally identifiable information, or what we in the industry would call PII, you're subject to strict requirements around data breach notification, in some cases, identity theft monitoring or credit monitoring, and you have to plan for the eventuality that your company might be the subject of a lawsuit related to the data breach itself. And there's a lot of other costs associated with the cleanup and the impact of losing someone else's data, but it's a good rule of thumb to use the $210 figure. Now stop for a second and think about your customer database, or I should say your databases period. How many current and former customers are in there? And then add in the number of employees, prospect information that you might be purchasing or might have, partners or vendors or suppliers and their information, and you can quickly get to a figure of how many records you have, and then do the math to see what this would cost you. Now, the second and fairly obvious impact of losing data and losing systems is that you're going to experience lost revenue. For however many hours or days or even weeks you're down, you're unable to sell more business, serve clients, and collect money. So if you think about it, just to put some numbers to this example, 1 week of downtime equates to about 2% of your annual revenue. So let's just pretend for a minute that you're $1 million business. If you're down for a week because of a systems issue, that's $20,000 off of your top line that you're unable to earn because of it. So 2% of your revenue is about 1 week of downtime, which in the case of $1 million business is $20,000 that you're not going to collect. And then the third piece is your lost productivity. And this is the time that you're spending on the phone, writing emails, going to your bank, consulting with your attorney, calming down angry customers, explaining what has happened, motivating your employees to put in the overtime and the long weekends to try to get the data and the systems back to a place where you can at least service your clients and get back to work. There's a huge impact from this lost productivity. And just to put some numbers around it, think about if we were to pretend again that you've got 1 week of downtime, what is 1 week of payroll worth to you? And you take the number of your payroll, add that to your 20,000 or however much from lost revenue based on your actual figures, plus the cost of $210 per record lost, and you can begin to approximate what the cost would be to your bottom line or the hit to your bottom line. Now, the wild card that we haven't yet discussed is if this was a cyber attack. Because if we're talking about a cyber attack, you have a whole lot of extra variables to keep in mind. One of which is going to be the cost of any ransom payments that you may have made. Right? So if a ransom gang holds your data hostage, they're encrypting everything on your server until you pay them. If you don't have a good offsite backup, you're forced to either lose your data or pay the bad guys. So these ransoms can run in the tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars for larger enterprises. And they're very, very expensive, and a lot of them will come out of pocket, especially if you don't have cyber insurance. The other thing to keep in mind with a cyber attack is you're going to have forensic investigation costs. So this is the cost of hiring IT specialists to comb through your systems and determine what was the source of the breach in the first place. How did the bad guys get in? And you need to know that so that you can close any holes and address any security weaknesses so it doesn't happen again. And then you also need them to help you clean up your machines and your network so that when you do restore from a backup, you're certain that you're not restoring that data into an infected environment, in which case you're just going to get ransomed or attacked again. So there's many more activities that you'll need to consider if you're the victim of a cyber attack, but these are probably two of the biggest buckets of cost. So when you add all of these things up, you can start to see what the impact would be to your business. And then what I would encourage you to do is to step back and look at how much data you have overall in the enterprise and how expensive would it be to protect that data with good offsite backups each month. For a small office, that can be as little as $100 a month. And so would you be willing to pay $100 for some preventative measures that will virtually guarantee that you don't have to experience these costs and all of the heartache and headache that goes with it? If so, and you'd like to get a quote for offsite backup services, feel free to reach out to us here at 𝗟cie𝘀𝐶. We can help you formulate that strategy, advise you on what's going to be your best course of action, and then even set it up for you. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please let us know by liking it and dropping a comment below so we know your favorite part. And if you feel that this and other videos would be useful for a friend or colleague, please share our YouTube channel and subscribe and turn on the alerts so that you'll never miss another tech tip. We'll see you on the next one.